And so I found an anchor, a blessed resting place, a trusty rock I called my Savior. There I would be safe from the river and its dangers, and I proclaim my rock divine, and I pray to it protect me, and the rock replied, God is a river, not just a stone. God is a wild raging rapids and a slow meandering flow. God is a deep and narrow passage, a peaceful sandy shore. God is a river swimmer, so let go. Still I clung to my rock tightly with conviction in my arms, never looking at the stream to keep my mind from thoughts of harm. But the river kept on coming, kept on tugging at my legs, till at last my fingers faltered and I was swept away. So I'm going with the flow now, these relentless twists and bends, acclimating to the motion and a sense of being led. And this river is like my body now, it carries me along through the ever-changing scenes and by the rocks that sing this song. God is a river, not just a stone. God is a wild raging rapids and slow meandering flow. God is a deep and narrow passage and a peaceful sandy shore. God is a river swimmer, so let go. God is the river swimmer. So let go.
This path giving each other what we need. With courage, strength, and power, we will succeed. And though we walk down this path alone, singing, welcome home, ah, yeah, welcome strive for peace deep within our hearts, and the love we feel makes a brand new start. As I give to you and you give to me, and I hold you close in my memory. And though we walk down this path alone, singing, welcome home, ah, yeah, welcome home. And though we walk down this path alone, singing, welcome home, ah, yeah, welcome After all our work is done, there'll be no more fighting, there'll be no more guns. As we hold hands, the world becomes one, singing, welcome home, ah, yeah, welcome home. And though we walk down this path alone, singing, welcome home, ah, yeah, welcome home. And though we walk down this path alone, singing, welcome home, ah, yeah, welcome home. Though we walk down this path alone, we're not alone. No, we're not alone. Though we walk down this path alone, singing, welcome home, ah, yeah, welcome home. Singing, welcome home, ah, yeah, welcome home. Singing, welcome home, ah, yeah, welcome Thank you.
Good morning. Welcome to this assembly, virtual though it may be, of All Souls Unitarian Universalist Church. This is our 33rd week of doing these virtual services. It's kind of hard to believe. Still, we're 9 days away from what is in my lifetime the most important election I may ever see. Lots going on, life goes on, and so we come here together to breathe, to catch a sense of space and belonging and hope. This is a congregation built around covenant, not creed. We come together in our agreement of how we will treat one another and how we want to live our lives in the world. To that end, whoever you are, whatever your age, race, origin, orientation, background, status, ability, identity, If you want to be here with us in a spirit of mutual respect, you are always welcome. We hope to hear from you. I know that in times like this, it's really easy to get Zoom burnout. It's also a whole lot more difficult for us to stay connected. So I would like for us, if we can, to actively encourage people to at least touch base every now and then. It's important work. You know, we set this time aside so that collectively we can elevate, contemplate, and have exchanges of ideas and matters of worth. Let your shoulders drop. Let the tension in your body ease a bit. And welcome.
And good morning. I'm Rebecca Tuggle. I am the treasurer for the board of directors of All Souls Unitarian Universalist Church. It's good to be with you this morning. Some announcements before I get started. Please, if you are, especially if you're joining us for the first time, sign the online visitors log, which you will find a link to in the comments. Also, if you would like to join us for the virtual coffee hour, which happens after the service, as well as the new UU class, which is at 1 o'clock, there will be links for those as well. Wanted to speak with you about funding as far as the church goes. Into the last quarter of the year now, and we have received just over 50% of our pledges for the year. And I know it's been, to say that it's been a heck of a year is a vast understatement and a gross understatement, but I know many of you are struggling in this time. There have been shutdowns, there have been furloughs, people have been laid off, people don't have jobs. And I understand if you are in that kind of a situation, you're not going to be able to give what you had maybe previously committed. You've been lucky enough to keep your job. You're lucky enough to not really have taken much of a financial hit. I'm imploring you to please give as much as you are able to give, because it still takes quite a bit to fund the church, even though we aren't there physically in the building. We still have a minister to pay and a director of religious education to pay, and we want to keep them paid and have them an income. But we also need to keep the lights on and keep the church functioning. So if you are able, please, there is a link here in the comments. There is a link on our website, allsoulsshreveport.org. You can also find the address for the church, which is on Ellerby Road, but the actual address is on there as well. I prefer personally mailing my check in, but you do whatever's comfortable for you, okay? But whatever you can give, it will be greatly appreciated. And now we'll go to Susan. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Rebecca, and thanks to all of you who I know are doing what you can and will continue to do what you can to support the church. We truly appreciate it. My announcements: we will have family religious education today at 1 o'clock p.m. and the Zoom link for that will be in the on the Slack channel and on the religious education Facebook page. And so I look forward to seeing y'all there. Also, Together Louisiana, we are having the home stretch of our voter mobilization phone banks. So there will be another one of those, I believe, on Saturday. And the link the link for that should be in the chat, or if not, it will come out very soon in an email. There's also going to be a rally this Wednesday in Baton Rouge at the Board of Commerce and Industry, which is at the LaSalle building in Baton Rouge. There will be an in-person component of it. There will also be a virtual component, and as information on that develops, we will let you know. But that is about really holding accountable this appointed board that makes a lot of decisions about where your tax dollars go. And we would just want a little more accountability, a lot more accountability in that process. So as I said, we'll keep you posted on developments as they come. And finally, on the 15th of November, after the service, and we'll firm up the time and all that between now and then, and provided the weather permits, we are going to officially put up the Hazel Martin, Purple Martin birdhouse, as a tribute to our late and much beloved member, Hazel Martin. And so we'll invite particularly those of you who knew Hazel and who feel comfortable coming to a distance outdoor event to kind of celebrate that. Again, we'll also have a virtual component of that. We'll put it online, whether via Zoom or via Facebook Live. We'll figure all that out between now and then and definitely let you know. And I believe that is all I have for today, except to encourage you to go to the new UU class if you're not already. Bennett does a great job with that, and it's a terrific class. I believe today is Social Justice Day, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, it is. All right, so that's a really good session too. There's a great story involved, and you know I love a good story. So drop in, see what it's all about. Thanks.
So we come to our time of worship, which is when we, from the Old English roots of the word, contemplate and elevate matters of worth. There are a lot of things that we will be lifting up today that I'd really like for you to consider your own answer to. It would be great to hear from you if you come up with one, whether it's in the chat or in an email or a phone call sometime. So, it is not by chance that you arrive here today, whenever today is for you. You've been looking for something larger than yourself. Inside of you, there's a yearning, a calling, a hope for more, a desire for a place of belonging and caring. Through your struggles, someone nurtured you into being, instilling a belief in a shared purpose, a common yet precious resource that belongs to all of us when we share. And so you begin seeking a beloved community, a people that does not put fences around love, a community that holds its arms open to possibilities of love, a heart home to nourish your soul and share your gifts. Welcome home. Welcome to worship. Be it real or metaphorical, whatever is in your backpack or your briefcase or your purse, whatever it is that you've brought into this sanctuary, that's whatever is weighing you down. Leave it behind. Whatever you are carrying that is keeping you distracted or caught up in shame or guilt or hopelessness, leave it behind. If you need it, it'll be there when we're done here. But for this hour, just let it go. Come into this place with open hearts. Come to this place with a soul that has remembered how to be tender again. Come to this place with a renewed hope for this world. Come to this place ready to build a world we've always been worthy of and have always dreamed of. I invite you to sing along, really, out loud.
You'll join me in the children's chalice lighting. We light this chalice to celebrate Unitarian Universalism. This is the church of the open mind. This is the church of the helping hands. This is the church of the loving heart.
Thank you so much. A symbol of our unity in spirit. No matter how scattered. Excuse me. I'm choking on water, if you believe it or not. We kindle a flame we trust will lead us forward as we travel into unknown lands, where the question, shall I ever get there, resounds a clear, pure note in every silence. In this community, we hold hope close We don't always know what comes next, but that cannot dissuade us. We don't always know just what to do, but that will not mean that we are lost in the wilderness. We rely on the certainty beneath the foundation of our values and ethics. The principles we share, the things we hold in common and have deep belief in, things we're willing to struggle for, things that make us know that we are caring and compassionate people. I would invite you to join us in our unison affirmation.
Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, to serve human need, to the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with the sacred. Thus do we covenant with each other.
Thank you, Rebecca. We're going to sing this chorus of Love Will Guide Us. It's actually the first verse and the chorus. They're all one thing. But I'm going to do it a couple of times. And I hope, just like you would do if you were sitting in the sanctuary, you'll sing even if it's softly and keep things alive for you. Love will guide us. Peace has tried us. Hope inside us will lead the way on the road from greed to giving. Love will guide us through the hard night. Guide us. Peace has tried us. Hope inside us will lead the way on the road from greed to giving. Love will guide us through the hard night.
No matter how old you are or how young you are, do you ever wish you had a magic wand? You think about what you might do with it if you had a magic wand that would really work and do what you wanted. What do you think you would do? Maybe you would just want to clean your room super fast or remodel your house. But then again, maybe you would think bigger than that, out beyond yourself. Perhaps you would want to heal someone you love that you know is sick. Perhaps you would want to make every bully you've ever known have a change of heart and decide to live right and be kind to others. And maybe you would think even bigger. Maybe you would wave your wand and you would change laws that are unjust, and you would clean up the environment, and you would start to reverse climate change, and you would eliminate racism and police brutality and sexism and homophobia and transphobia. So many things. Well, we may not have a magic wand, but it doesn't mean that we have no power to change the things we want to change. We have something powerful. We have each other, so that when we take a stand against a single bully at school, as I know some of you kids have done, or we write a letter to a public official to protest an injustice, or we start a movement against a big, powerful system, we always know we're not alone. We have this community, these people to stand behind us, to stand with us, and we have the power of this faith. We have the power of Unitarian Universalism, which reminds us that even when the road is hard and the journey is long, we cannot be separated from love. From the flame of our chalice comes the light of truth, the warmth of community, and the energy of action. And that is its own kind of magic.
Good morning. For today's meditation, let yourself find a comfortable position, body balanced and spine straight. Begin with a deep, comfortable breath, shifting your attention to your heart space, and imagine breathing in and out of your heart. Allow your breath to deepen and slow. Allow your breath to be soft and kind. As you pause today upon the path of your life's journey, you survey the road that lies ahead. There are immense challenges, dreams yet to be lived, wounds that call for healing, tasks that require your hand and heart. It can seem too much. You may ask yourself, who am I to make this journey in the midst of such great change? I am too small, too weak, too slow to take the needed steps, too limited to surmount the obstacles. As you look within, you now reflect, I do not travel this path alone. I carry the gifts of those who have gone before. I now walk hand in hand with beloved community, and in my heart are the seeds of justice and healing I give to future generations. Who I am is part of something far greater than any limitations, more enduring than any separate self. I live a life worth living when I open my heart to join the hearts of others. Through presence and relationship, I find my wholeness. Through my eyes, the vision we share together can be seen. Through my hands, the world we seek together is built. And through my heart, the healing we seek is given and received. My life is a gift that gains power and meaning in the challenges we meet together. In these few moments of sacred silence, center your awareness in the rhythm of your breath. Breathing in, I am whole. Breathing out, we are one. Breathing in, I receive. Breathing out, I let go. We open and we are embraced. Welcome home.
Hey, good morning. And yeah, I'm Bennett Upton. And 2020 has been well, quite the year. It's been pretty crazy. And so, how is Unitarian Universalism relevant today in a year like this and times like these? And I guess I think like the main problems that I see in the world today are not the real problems. The real problems like poverty, systemic violence, climate change, those are easy to fix. Just stop raping women, murdering Black people, and ride your bike to work. Fixed it. But it's not really fixed, is it? Viral misinformation, racial supremacy, tribalism, they've prevented us from making any headway. We're actually going backwards in a lot of areas. On the face of it, it seems like we could win, get enough people to vote, spread a good message, buy enough advertisements, take power in the election and make them stop. When my tribe takes over, everything will be fine. We are good and they are evil. We've been here before. We've won before. So why didn't we win? Why isn't it all fixed? Because it's not that simple. Unitarian Universalism calls us to not just accept, but embrace the diversity of people in our community. It calls us to acknowledge the inherent worth and dignity of all people. This shatters tribalism, misogyny, racism, and inoculates us against viral misinformation. It gives us a practice to send it out into the world and live it religiously. It arms us with a new language and equips us with an emotional granularity to deal with the underlying problems of our society. Maybe that can help. Maybe it's the only thing that can help. I don't know. I don't know what's going to fix everything, but this is the last best chance, I think. So those are my thoughts.
How is Unitarian Universalism relevant in 2020? To answer the question, I first want to broaden the question. How is religion relevant in 2020? An increasing number of people in this country would answer, it isn't. And who could blame them when media presents this constant false dichotomy of the religious right versus the secular or even anti-religious left? The religious tradition of Unitarian Universalism is relevant in 2020 because its very existence shatters that dichotomy and offers a home for those who desire to work for change within a movement grounded in faith. A number of years ago, in an effort to determine the mission and spirit of our own congregation, and for that matter, of our own faith tradition, many UUs seem locked into their own false dichotomy, that of spiritual growth versus social justice, as if we could really have one without the other. I'm happy to say that I don't hear that so much anymore. Perhaps it's a greater spiritual maturity. Perhaps it's just a greater realization of what life is asking of us in the early 21st century. Justice work requires a spiritual foundation rooted in stories big enough that we can aspire to live into them, and a web of love strong enough to hold us up when the world would see us knocked down. Justice work without that foundation is the path to burnout. A spiritual life requires us to see and feel our connection to all life and all beings in such a way that we have no choice but to act for justice in the world. A spiritual life that does not move us in that way is self-absorbed navel-gazing. Unitarian Universalism is relevant in 2020 because it not only provides a home for us to find and practice that balance in our own lives, but also a community that can hold us through those times when we need to rest in that web and amplify our voices when we must speak truth to power.
So what difference does it make anyway, Unitarian Universalism that is, and being a Unitarian Universalist? It's very easy these days to feel like we're not a part of any community because we have so much time separate from the people that we have resonated with in time past. But I would say the tradition itself makes and has made tremendous difference in our culture and our nation, always calling us to question our own assumptions, follow wherever truth leads us, even if it's inconvenient and sometimes dangerous. The faiths of our predecessors, and I use the plural of faith because, we came from Unitarianism and Universalism, but they came together in 1961. These faiths called people to work for abolition and to help escaping slaves to their own at their own peril, and the calls were answered. They called people to help those fleeing the Nazis, again at great risk or danger to themselves, and those calls were answered. Unitarian Universalism called people to rise up for civil rights, voting rights, women's rights, and all of those calls have been answered and continue to be. Environmental justice and care, racial justice and dismantling systemic racism with care. It's human institutions, and we make mistakes along the way, plenty of them. But we keep changing. I would say this tradition makes a great deal of difference to the people who really commit to it and live with a Unitarian Universalist outlook, part of the movement. Over 35 years ago, I arrived to this tradition and at this congregation because I was invited. And admittedly, I initially stayed because no one asked me to change. I was accepted as I was, and I can promise I was pretty self-indulgent in those days. Kind of wild times in my life. But I was invited to share my voice and what gifts and passions I had to offer. I really didn't understand most of the folks here, but still I found place. A sense of that there was room for me. It's only been through the years that I've come to recognize just how much Unitarian Universalism asks of me and how very much it has given me. It did ultimately ask me to change and continues to. That's a very different proposition than the mainstream religious tradition in which I grew up. There, the phrase I heard more than once was, once saved, always saved. But of course, what saved meant was very specific and not a condition generally understood to be granted to all of humankind. They asked for one significant initial change so that everything you did fit acceptability. But then I took it that you were kind of home free. You could skate on that because everything was taken care of. Quite unlike my childhood and probably childish understanding of that other faith, this UUism is a living tradition. It keeps calling me to change because our world changes. If you haven't noticed them this year, you're definitely not paying attention. What we know to be true expands and changes. What is needed from us so that we might align with justice and compassion to help generate, beloved community, a peaceful, fair, and free world changes. Here we're called to be our best selves. And when we fall short, not give up. When the world falls short, don't give up. When our collective falls short, we don't give up. When we get weary, it becomes a whole lot easier to make explanations and excuses, maybe, for why it's not our job anymore. That belongs to someone else. We can feel detached and wrap that disinterest and disengagement in some sort of very noble idea that our time is up. If we're early in all of this justice work, if things have been a struggle every step of the way so far and things have not gone right, we can feel like it's hopeless and there's no reason to be engaged because it isn't going to change anyway. But if we look at our long history, if we look at how much this group of people is endeavoring to work in the system, through the system, around the system, and over under the system, to change it, to make it just, to make a difference, we can regain a sense of hope. We can regain understanding that it's very important to stay engaged. In 1994, there was a movie that came out called The Shawshank Redemption, and there was a character in it named Andy Dufresne who had been framed and found guilty for something he did not do. At one point he said, "I guess it comes down to a simple choice, really. Get busy living or get busy dying." The difference that Unitarian Universalism makes is that it encourages us ever toward living. It changes. It asks us to change and assures us there's no reason to fear death. It gives us reasons to believe that there is more good to come and that we can be part of bringing it about. It gives us the resources so that we might learn the skills, and then forge the networks necessary in the task commensurate with building beloved community. This faith urges us on. It honors the parts that we are and that we bring and the insights that we gain along our struggles. Not only in the work of growing a better world for our children's children's children, but calls us to continue progress, maturity, growth, awakening, spiritually, intellectually, physically, emotionally, creatively, socially, culturally, sensorially. This is not a large congregation. So it's not able to show the breadth of diversity one encounters at events sponsored by the broader organization of the Unitarian Universalist Association. So it does the tradition, the movement. Hopefully, this congregation will help offer a framework, a network in which to work for whatever passions you bring. If you look, you're going to find something already there organized that you can be a part of in Unitarian Universalist efforts. If you are very close to your own inside path and you feel like you're alone in that, you can find others walking that path very similar to your own inside the circle of Unitarian Universalism. The broader denomination and movement is home to such a beautiful and fascinating assortment of people, perspectives, and paths. In a small city like ours, one can feel isolated, impotent, weary, unhopeful, but the support and connections you long for are available within the system. This system, if you only invest the courage to reach out for them, the heart to not become despondent, apathetic, or torpid. Your personal individual passion can find connection with other souls who resonate with that vision. We have been charged and given the ability to be in community with progressive, involved, passionate, creative people to network and stay informed. When we're a part of a congregation, no matter if we are very focused on our own passion, we get information about the other ones and learn ways to make those link up. Recently, on public radio, I heard a story about polyglots, those that speak multiple languages. And when they do evaluations, brain science, evaluations of how that affects one's mind, polyglots have wiring that makes them more inclined to be compassionate. If we are in a community of diversity, where we are asked to accept people with differences, we become more inclined to be multilingual emotionally, psychologically, to become polyglots so that we can reach the people who might be difficult for us by learning their language and employing it in ways that have truth for us, that have integrity for us. It takes courage, yes. But again, from the Shawshank Redemption, fear can hold you prisoner, but hope can set you free. And this is no caravan of despair. We have hope in the deep, unsearchable truth, the unfolding of the universe, the expansiveness of the spirit of life that moves in us and among us, in which we live and move and have our being. It calls us to our higher selves. How we live this life matters. If we continue to grow, matters. Here we can help one another. Here we can encourage one another. Here we can find the support we need through our challenges. I have a song that the choir performed once here. I think maybe just once. And I've cut it down some. We have a lot of good news to share. And we can find it more easily among ourselves. So, we gotta give the good news backbone. We gotta wind our courage up. Get ready to face down the shadows with justice only born of love. We gotta give the good news backbone. We have a lot of hope to spread around to those who might become disheartened. By covenant we're bound. Strength of character, heart for the heat, hope and courage to mind the gap, and justice to inspire. We gotta give the good news backbone. We gotta wind our courage up. We got to face down the shadows with justice born of love. I'm gonna do that part again. We gotta give the good news backbone. We gotta wind our courage up. Get ready to face down the shadows with justice born of love. With justice born of love. With justice born of love. Unitarian Universalism makes a great deal of difference, but its relevance is dependent on those who engage in it, that populate Unitarian Universalism. And how we go about it makes a great deal of difference. Fear can't conquer fear, hate can't conquer hate. I hope this tradition continues to be relevant for you and make a difference, a positive difference in your life for the long time to come. As we separate now to our many activities and spaces, may this light that has shown our unity move inside us. May we listen so that we can hear. May we hear so that we can feel. May we feel so that we can know. And may we know so that we can change ourselves and this world. May we carry the light of this chalice, now extinguished, with us, within us, to light our way. Namaste, so be it. Amen. Blessed be.